You guys got NCAA Team of the Week. What does that feel like?
It's fun. It's exciting. In this particular week, I know there's a lot of people talking about enjoying life, right? And so, as a coach, you're always a little bit apprehensive. You don't want to read in their own clippings and this and that and getting distracted. But at the same time, our team had a good week. We've had a good season, and that needs to be celebrated as well. So I'm happy for them. They did do a good job last week, and they have done a good job this season. And um, you know, it doesn't mean we just show up tomorrow and win games because we're the team of the week, which we talked about. You have to do the work, but it's great for them. They're young people who should enjoy their accomplishments, and it's great for them.
What do you feel it says about your team that you guys have been able to accomplish something that's recognized on a national level?
I think it just says that we have a really good team. Our program is good. We've been good for a long time now. We're continuing to get better. These players are good. They're continuing to improve. They're working better and better together every game, every week. We're making improvements still, which is the plan. That's how it's drawn up. You want to play your best in March, right? And so, or April if you get there. And our team is doing that. So it's great to be nationally recognized in a way that sometimes, people love to knock on all the things Gonzaga and conference affiliation and this and that. Our guys have been experiencing it for years, so have we. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what conference you're in or who you play or whatever. It matters, how good your team is, and our team is good. And so it's nice to feel that at this level.
Jill Townsend's also coming off of West Coast Conference Player of the Week. What can you say about her week and how she performed?
She was phenomenal. I wouldn't say I don't think we were so bad that we needed her to carry us. It wasn't. There was other people who had good performances, but she was certainly a cut above. Her field goal percentage, the two double doubles. She was confident. She shot great from the field, from the two, from the three. She did a lot for us, and we didn't necessarily need anybody to carry us, but we were down a couple players, and so in that time, we had just had lots of conversations about doing a little bit more, continuing to play team basketball. Not that anybody needed to take blank amount more shots or get blank amount more rebounds. We just needed to do what we were doing, and you're going to have maybe a few more opportunities here or there. And she made the most of them, and well-deserved recognition this week.
Do you feel like Kaylee and Leanne are going to be ready to go this week?
Yeah, I think so. They've been practicing the last few days, so it takes a while to be 100%, but they're able-bodied and released to us. So as much as we can use them, we will. And I think they look pretty good the last few days, to be honest.
You have 18 wins in a row, and you're beating teams pretty soundly, at least the last few weeks. I guess what's the message to the team so that they're not getting complacent and they can still have that fire to go out there and still, compete the best they can?
Well, we've been just talking about playing to a standard. It's not playing to win 20 games. It's not playing to be undefeated in conference. We're playing to be our best and play to the standard. And it doesn't matter who the opponent is. You're not playing against an opponent. You're not necessarily playing against yourself. You're playing to our standards. And, we've shown that it shouldn't look any different when you're up 5 or 10 or 15 or 20. Just yesterday we were talking to our strength coaches about that, and it doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about playing to the standard and being our very best in the last 2 minutes of the game as we are in the first 2 minutes of the game. And if we focus on that, then there's not really. It does. We're not immune to all of it and social media age, and they're hearing all the things. You guys are asking all the questions. Everyone else is asking all the questions. But in our practices and in our locker room, that's what we're talking about.
Last time you played San Diego, like 23 or something turnovers like that. What were they doing to disrupt you, and how do you fix that part of the game for tomorrow?
I think we need to play more physical. They're a very physical team. They're very defensive oriented. They pressure. They change defenses. So not things that we haven't seen before, but on the road, I don't think we were at our best. We were expecting it. We had talked about it. You didn't have a lot of time to practice against it because, if I remember correctly, we played BYU first, so we were focused on them, and they do things very differently than San Diego does. So those teams are not, your practices on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are not like your practice on Friday when you're preparing for a different team. But, I think a little bit of poise under pressure, being here at home, we'll be a little bit more comfortable, but really the reality is we have to handle the pressure. We have to bend our knees, get lower, stick together. We have to work with each other. Our offense is designed not to go one-on-one, but to utilize each other through screen work and passing and those kind of things. And so we just have to do a better job of that. Our offense was not at its best down there.
tough this week with everything that happened on Sunday and what, obviously Kobe Bryant meant to the basketball world. I'm sure a lot of these girls watched a lot of Kobe Bryant growing up and maybe practiced his shot a lot growing up. What was this week like with that happening?
I think it's been a little bit surprising on how tough it's been for both the coaches and the players. I don't know if he was any one player on this current roster's very favorite. We have some former players who idolized Kobe Bryant, but everybody knows about him. In the last few years since his retirement, the impact that he's been making, and his daughter, we've all watched his daughter play. The coaching staff we've been at their games live, and the players all know about her. So it's been surprising. I think it just feels closer to home because it is basketball family type of situation. He had spoken with our men's team, and our a lot of their friends know him, and Kiani has been working down there at the Mamba, at their facilities, and so it's been difficult. I think it also, whenever something like this happens, it brings up things that you can relate it to. So, right, I think about my brother, or I think about my kids, or I think about his wife, and the players have all the same things and connections that they can make, and it is difficult, but it's a part of life, and we're working through it. I think that they, if anything else, it just reminds them how much we need to take each day one at a time, and we've mentioned a lot of love on your people when you can. And they've experienced that. A couple of them have had deaths in the family or in the friends groups this year, and it just that's the hard part, I think, is your connection and just a realization and a remembrance that life is short and there's a lot of unknowns, and so control what you can control and then be happy with it at the end of the day.
What do you have a favorite Kobe moment, or do you feel like he impacted you in any specific way, or do you have something you'd like to share?
I would say that actually just recently, I've been studying him a little bit. So 2 weeks ago I bought the Mama Mentality book, and he's been doing some leadership and just some performance coaching type of things. And I've seen several videos. We've been studying him as a coaching staff, and as a athletic department a little bit. And earlier this season we played something for the team where he was at his retirement speech, where he was talking to his girls and just telling them that it's about the process. And I've seen him speak recently about how it's not do you hate to lose or do you love to win. It's about the process, and that's something that we preach all the time, that it don't be defined by wins and losses. Be defined every moment on how you work and those kind of things. And so that's something I think will stick with me for ever probably, but right now that's something that it hits extra close to home.
NCAA Team of the Week, what does that feel like?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's quite the accomplishment. A lot of good teams out there, and that we had a good enough weekend to stand out in the nation. That's pretty cool, and it just shows what this team is doing right now and the way we're rolling, and it just gives us something to build on.
What do you feel it says, I guess, about your team that you guys are able to, get national recognition like this?
It kind of, I think, just shows that we're kind of here, and we're a really good team this year, and people are gonna have to start respecting that. WCC knows it, but just everyone else. It kind of made them aware of us and what we're doing up here, and so it's pretty cool for our team to work as hard as we have, and been playing the way we have, and finally get that kind of national recognition.
You were also West Coast Conference Player of the Week for second time this season, I believe. What does that feel like?
It's cool. It's like I said, great to be recognized. But it doesn't matter this week, is what Lisa's saying. That's last week. That's not going to win you the 2 games that we need this week, tomorrow and Saturday. So it's cool to be able to play well and get that type of award. But it's in the end, it really doesn't matter all that much.
Like knowing that you're probably going to get Kaylee and Leanne back.
Mm-hmm. What'd you say? Sorry,
so
what's the first part?
Just knowing
First part. Yeah, it's great. They're a huge part of our team, and this last week without them, it was tough. It was different. Rotations were different. People having to play different spots. And obviously we performed well and did okay without it, but just having them back in the spots and the rotations kind of makes it feel like we have been before last weekend, kind of like where we started and what we've been working on. So having them back is going to be big, and we can't wait.
What's the message from Coach when, you've won 18 in a row and undefeated in conference play? What's her message to you your players is, to not be complacent and keep the, foot on the gas pedal.
Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot in the locker room. The girls, the coaches, our strength and conditioning coach, is that we got to know that we have the biggest target on our back right now. Everyone's going to love to take us down and, bring us down a notch. And it doesn't matter. We can have not our best game, but everyone else is going to have their very best game every time they play us. And so it's really not looking past anyone and realizing, Thursday is going to be the biggest game of the year. And then Saturday is going to be the biggest game of the year at that time. And just taking it one game at a time, it's really big for us and what the coaches have been telling us and talking about.
Do you like having that target on your back?
Yeah, I do. And it means that you're doing something right and that we're the team to beat and that everyone's going to show out against us. And it forces us to be better every game, that we can't just cruise, that we're going to have to get better every practice for every game. And so, yeah, it's great. It pushes us.
Last time you played San Diego, you guys had a tough time hanging on the ball, like 23 turnovers, something like that, season high. What did they do that was disrupting you so much, and how do you clean that up?
They're a high-pressured team. They're very physical, and they're getting up into your shorts every play, and they just make you uncomfortable and make you want to do stuff that you don't normally do. And so, yeah, just making you uncomfortable. And turnovers have been kind of a key point that this entire season that we've kind of didn't really like about our play. And so, we've, I think, gotten better and better each game, and San Diego wasn't our best in that area. And so, just taking care of the ball and being strong with it and being comfortable when they try to make you uncomfortable is important.
How did you handle the news Sunday with passing Kobe Bryant? What was your initial reaction, and where are you at now?
It was shock. All of us, the entire team, we were all in the training room getting treatment. And I think Leanne saw it first on her phone, and we were all just, no, that's not real. It's one of those hoax, whatever. And then it just kept coming out, and it was just shocking, and it's still hard to believe. As a player growing up, he's always someone you looked up to, and you knew his name. All you had to say was Kobe, and everyone knew who you were talking about. And he did so much for the game and so much for the women's game. It's just a huge loss for the basketball world.
Do you have a favorite Kobe moment or any specific way that he impacted you?
I don't know. Growing up, I really didn't like him. I never liked the Lakers, and I saw someone say that was pretty real, was you love to hate him. And then when he retired, the hate went away, and you just loved what he did for the game. And so I think that's where I'm at right now, is just loving how he pushed the game forward for both men's and women's basketball.
Team of the week, what does that feel like?
It feels good, obviously, being chosen to be that team. I think that really shows how much we've accomplished this season and how hard we've worked to get that and to earn it. And I think at this point, we know we've got it. We just got to keep pushing through and keep working just as hard and focus on each game.
What do you feel like it says about your team that you guys are being recognized on such a national level?
I think it says a lot. I think it shows that we have a lot of heart and we're competitive and we want it just as bad as any other team out there competing. And I think it really shows that we're really in it to get to that tournament like we did last year and to move past that round.
Just over the weekend, you became 5th all-time in assists in program history. What did that mean to you?
It's an honor to be able to be a 5th and to get that position. And I guess I wasn't really thinking about it until I was told kind of about where I was being placed with assists. And I think it just it doesn't change anything. I just still play the game I play and play with my team and every game just as hard. And it's not really something I have I'm focusing on, but I know it's back in the back of my head, just knowing that it's a really good it's a good honor to be part of that. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Speaking of I know you're kind of one of the quarterbacks, lack of a better term, on this team. The team you're playing coming up, San Diego, they did a good job disrupting you guys last time you played them. They forced a lot of turnovers. What was it specifically they're doing that was so disruptive?
I know San Diego is an aggressive team. They offer a lot of pressure when it comes to their defense, and offensively, I think we struggled a little bit with it, but I know that's what our focus is this week, is just being able to handle that pressure and execute our offense and just coming out ready to play like we did against them the first time.
What does it mean to be able to look like getting Leanne and Kaylee back into the lineup this week?
I think it'll be great. Our team's back together. It was hard last week without them, obviously. Any player that has to sit out, or any teammate who isn't playing with us on the court will obviously change things a little bit, and our chemistry is a little off, but I think we did a great job last week with it, and this week we're really excited to have them back.
Last question for me is just about Kobe Bryant. And when you heard what happened on Sunday, what was your initial reaction? And what was that moment like?
I was really shocked. I mean, Kobe to me has always been a phenomenal player, and he's one of the people I did look up to. I loved the way he thought of the game, and that how much work he put into it and how much heart he had for it. And I really looked up to that. And when I heard the news, it was kind of hard to believe at first until I was hearing it more from other people, and it was just really sad.
Do you have a favorite Kobe moment?
There's a lot. It's hard to say specifically. He was such a great player in person, and he says a lot of great things. And I know with the program we're going through right now with our weight trainer, we've talked a lot about Kobe before the incident happened and how much he put in for the game and how much of an impact it has for us.